I'm Dr. Leahcim Semaj of the Semaj MindSpa. We're now at part 3 of the migration dilemma. A Jamaica worth returning to or staying in? This is solutions. A lot of people have questioned because I raised the issues and the concerns. Now we're devoting part 3 to the answer to the question. So listen very carefully. More than half of Jamaicans plan to leave this island within the next 3 years. All the data is telling us that. This is not gossip. Our number 1 pollster, Don Addison, has demonstrated and documented this information for the last year. The UNDP has also emphasized and elucidated. So today, I'm not asking why they're leaving. I am asking something harder. What would make them stay? What would bring them back? I've assigned myself that task. Because here's what I know. A Jamaica worth returning to is not built on patriotism alone. It is not built on jerk chicken and Bob Marley and Usain Bolt and telling people to love their country. Words are not enough. It is built like a house, built by walls. And right now, we're missing some walls. There are 5 walls that I'm proposing we start with. And once we get those 5 walls in, you may choose to add some others. And I'd love to hear from you. What are the other walls we're going to add? The first wall is safety. You cannot build a country people want to stay if they don't feel safe inside it. The IMF estimates that crime costs Jamaica between 2 and 4% of GDP every single year. That's up to $500 million gone. Not because we lack talent, but because we tolerate violence as a way of life. But something historic happened in 2025. Jamaica recorded its most significant drop in violent crime in over 30 years. Homicide fell more than 40%. That's not a statistics. That is a foundation. If we protect it, everything else becomes possible. All right? So that's wall 1. We've started that construction. The second wall is economic opportunity. For 30 years, Jamaica's real per capita GDP grew at 1% annually. 1 percent per year. That is the mathematics of frustrated ambition. That's why a young engineer graduate looks around and thinks, my best option is a plane ticket. We have to change that calculation. Not with speeches, but with investment, with trade, with digital infrastructure, with making genuinely possible to build a life here on this island and win. Not talks, not a bag of mouth, action. The third wall is education. Education which is aligned with the future, not the past. Only 28% of eligible Jamaicans are enrolled in tertiary institutions. 28%. Remember the most recent data we have on people finishing the qualifying competence for high school? 19% had 5 subjects, including maths and English. We're not doing well. We are training people for a world that no longer exists. And then watching this developed world take the best that we produce for the world that does exist. We need curricula built around agri-tech, renewable energy, digital services, creative industries, climate resilience. We need to produce graduates that Jamaica wants to keep because Jamaica has built the economy to reward them. In addition, we have demonstrated the capacity to train world-class healthcare providers. Our nurses and our doctors are in demand. We need to get the resources from wherever. It's a major positive investment that to produce a surplus of healthcare providers, including doctors and nurses and pharmacists and technologists. And then literally we'll have the surplus. We can literally, quote unquote, sell them to the rest of the world and make a profit. I've been saying this for 30 years. The fourth wall is the diaspora as partner, not exile. The Jamaican diaspora contributes 28% of our national output, nearly $4 billion a year. But there's an additional $1.5 billion in unrealized potential sitting in the bank accounts and investment plans of Jamaicans abroad who want to build here but don't feel safe enough, supported enough, welcomed enough. And here's the thing that should embarrass us. A Jamaican living in London cannot vote in our election unless they buy a plane ticket and come home. We welcome their remittance. We need to welcome their voice. We can work on this. We have to make this happen. And the fifth wall, the one we talk about the least, but this is primary. It's healthcare. If you want to know where a country truly respects its people, look at the public hospitals. Nearly half of Jamaica's healthcare workforce is currently leaving this island. Half. And I want you to understand the cruelty of that circle. We train them here. We lose them abroad. We then try to care for a sick and aging population with a system running on empty. 70% of all deaths in Jamaica are from non-communicable diseases. We're talking about diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, conditions that are manageable if the system can manage them. And right now, in some parishes, you wait to see a diabetes doctor twice a month. A Jamaican work returning to is one where you don't fear getting sick, where your mother can see a specialist, where the nurse who saved your father's life was paid enough to stay. I can tell you some horror stories in our public facilities. And we see those with money, as soon as they get ill, they jump on a plane and they're gone. We need to make sure our people can get the same here. So when people ask me, Dr. Semaj, do you think Jamaicans will ever stop leaving? I say, build the 5 walls. Build those 5 walls. And you may want to add some others, but let's start with those 5 walls. Make this island safe. Make ambition possible. Align education with the future. Treat the diaspora like the partners they really are. And build a healthcare system worthy of the people who trained in it. Do those 5 things, and you won't have to beg anyone to come back. They will come. You've heard it? Field of dreams, build it, and they will come. You add, build it, and they will stay. Because a Jamaican worth returning to is not a dream. It's a decision. If and when we make that decision, it happens. I'm Dr. Leahcim Semaj. This is the MindSpa. And this island is worth fighting for. Let's make it happen. As I always end my thing, the best is yet to come. It's up to us. We can do it.